find your way to higher ground. May you always keep your head held up high. Pretty little thing, you're a diamond in the rough, shining from within. I can tell that you're tough.
I'm the type of person that doesn't like routine or doing the same stuff over and over again. It kind of makes me tired and very unsatisfied. But I get really excited when I try out something new and do things differently. It kind of makes me come alive. And lately I recognized that I started to get bored of my own art style. Even though it felt like in the beginning of this year I finally find my style after 17 years of painting. And that was strange for me. But let's get back into the studio and I will explain you what I mean. And if you're new here, then don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Let's go back into my studio. Three years ago, in November 2018, I gave my teenage dream of becoming an artist a last chance, and I made a secret plan because I was afraid of what other people would say in case it wouldn't work out. Back then I wanted to become an illustrator, but during my first illustration job I realized that this is not what I want to do. What I really wanted was to become a fine artist. That led me to the journey to find out what my own art style was. I experimented with different mediums like oil, color pencil or ink, but I fell in love with watercolor. It really fits to my personality and I love that watercolor very often just does what it wants to do and you cannot really control it. And it can bloom so beautifully and create a wonderful texture. I also felt like I found my art style in the beginning of the year, and from that I developed a routine of how I painted my portraits. I started with a blue or green underpainting and built up the layers with a very limited color palette. First, I was so happy that I finally found my style and was able to create work that really felt like me, and it seemed like I finally arrived. But this fall, I recognized that I was starting to get bored by the way I painted and also the art itself. I had my routine, I knew what I was doing, and it didn't challenge me anymore.
This is so frustrating. Hey Lizzie, what's wrong with you? Why are you so mad? I don't know. My art just bores me so much. You know what? Just try something different. Another style, a new brush, another color. I cannot believe that it actually works. See, I told you that. This is so much better. I believe you are a genius.
I've been painting with watercolor for 3 years, trying to master them, and now I was getting bored by it and also by my color palette. It was strange and I felt a little bit guilty of that. I thought I should be happy that I finally found my style, and watercolor is such a wonderful medium and I thought I should
stick to it until the rest of my life. And I also was a little bit afraid because I thought my followers expected me to paint in a certain way and I didn't want to disappoint them or lose followers. But as I shared all of these thoughts with my wonderful mentor, Ellie Cavanaugh, she gave me so much clarity. She said, if you feel stuck or bored and what you create doesn't excite you anymore, it's time for something new. And she encouraged me to just let change happen. Hearing that from her was such a relief because she is a very amazing and successful artist and I completely trust her advice. I was open for change now and I wanted a complete fresh start. I looked at my paintings to find out what I was missing in them. I love the turquoise and it's my favorite color, but at the same time it makes the painting look very cool when I use it too much or don't balance it out with warmer colors. My grandmother just moved into a new home and as she packed all her belongings, she found a self-portrait that I painted in the time I lived together with her. I did this self-portrait 10 years ago and the color of this painting gave me a vision for what I was looking for. I wanted the new paintings to give me a warmer and more cozy feeling. Also, the colors we see in this season of the year did inspire me. I love this beautiful earth tones with the browns, ochre and burnt orange. At this time I was looking for a new direction. Me and my daughters were sick and laying on the couch the whole day and we watched every Winnie Pooh movie multiple times the whole day. And it made me happy to look at the beautiful pastel tones in the film. That gave me the idea to start painting with gouache because I thought that I could mix such colors with gouache very well. And I had some tubes that were over 10 years old and I bought them at a time where I wanted to become a fashion designer, but I figured out that I like the painting and drawing more than designing clothes. So I didn't become a fashion designer, but I still love fashion. Did you recognize my new sweater? I love it so much. I bought it in a vintage store together with some other fancy clothes.
Better for my soul, yeah. Better for my soul. Find somebody better, better for my soul. You're the one I'll stay for, though I wanna go. Find somebody better.
I also tried gouache in my experimenting phase 3 years ago, but I didn't use it right. I treated it more like watercolor and put very thin layers over each other, but it didn't work well for me and I didn't like gouache at all. But I wanted to try it again and this time use the paint in a thicker consistency. And this is what came out. I call it my first real gouache portrait because for the first time I used it like it was meant to. In the beginning I thought it would come out very ugly, but after a short time I got really excited and I love this painting, and again I was like, I finally found my art style and this is totally me. I just love the pastel and earthy tones and that it is so colorful but in a soft and still realistic way. And I love that you can see every single brush stroke that can give a painting a lot of dynamic and movement. One of my favorite things about gouache compared to watercolor is that it is very forgiving. With watercolor, I need to think ahead and plan a lot because most of the time you cannot reverse mistakes. But with gouache, you can cover up everything with new paint until you are satisfied. And because of that, I have less fear to mess the painting up. And that gives me the opportunity to relax better while I'm painting and to just go with the flow without thinking too much. Gouache is my new favorite medium and this is my new style, but I want to be open for change and go wherever my heart leads me and not limit myself anymore by the belief that I have to stick to my style for the rest of my life once I've found it. Maybe in the future I will combine watercolor and gouache because they are very similar from their ingredients and work well together. Like I started to do here for a painting challenge from Ellie Kavanaugh on Patreon. The prompt was make it more, and I painted some watercolor portraits I wasn't happy about over with gouache. I think it could be cool to do the background in watercolor and the figure in gouache or something like that. So we will see. That's it, friends. I hope you enjoyed this video and it encouraged you to do something different and to allow yourself to change. Even if you think that you already found your art style, don't limit yourself and don't be afraid to lose followers or to disappoint the people who love your art. From time to time, just allow yourself a fresh start and let your art style grow and change with you. And if this video was helpful for you, please give it a like and I would love to hear from you. So leave me a comment down below. See you in the next video. Bye!
I am the type of person that doesn't